Welcome to Dead Giveaway. I'm Billy.
And I'm Carley.
This is a two-part podcast. In episode 1, I will tell a true story, but change the names and locations to try and see if my true crime-obsessed wife can discover the truth.
In part 2, Billy reveals the answers, and we will discuss the details of the case. Will I get it wrong, or will it be a dead giveaway?
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Part 2.
Of The Unknown Caller.
Yes.
So, last episode, you guessed somebody in the police force.
Yes. That was my guess.
You're not entirely wrong, but you're not right either.
Okay. Care to explain yourself?
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. We hope you're having a wonderful Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. It's almost Friday.
Yeah, Monday's ugly cousin. Oh, man. All right, we'll get into this. Okay. So I'll get to that explanation here in a minute. It all makes sense. I'm fairly certain that you know this case. I have heard you, I believe, mention this once or twice.
Okay.
And I know for a fact you, not too long ago, watched a show on this.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so the real case is Cindy James.
Oh,
from
yes,
British
yes.
Columbia.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so Cindy James was born Cynthia Elaine Hack on June 12th, 1944. She was born in Oliver, British Columbia. She was the middle of 6 children, was raised in a household marked by the rigid discipline of her father, a retired Air Force colonel. While she maintained a composed professional image, her private diaries later revealed a childhood shaped by extreme parental strictness and emotional repression, details that later fueled debates over her psychological profile.
Yeah.
So you remember this one?
Oh,
You
yeah.
recall this one? Okay. Yeah. Very, very bizarre case.
Very bizarre.
So now you understand why. I mean,
this is one of those ones too.
You're right and wrong.
Yeah, because you don't really know.
Yeah, you don't know.
But this is one of those ones. I know I've seen multiple documentaries on this, and depending on who does the documentary, you kind of get steered one direction or the other. So, like, if you just watch one, you're like, oh, well, it's definitely this is what happened. But then you watch another one, and you're like, what? Like, none of this makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. But continue.
So she trained as a nurse and developed a sterling reputation at Blenheim House, where she cared for children with complex behavioral and emotional disorders. Colleagues consistently described her as a highly conscientious, methodical, and reliable person. However, signs of emotional complexity appeared early. As a young woman, she spoke of a fiancé who had died of cancer, a relationship that no friends, family, or records could ever verify. So there's subtle things that you learn throughout
some
her
type
life
of mental health
lead to
doubt,
confabulation. Right. You know, she just
telling stories to get attention kind of thing.
And it depends on again, in interviews and things, it depends on who is saying what they
who's narrating and
for, or it's this was a habitual thing,
right? Kind of like what their personal opinion is,
right? And
what facts that they have and what facts that they don't, because there's some facts that I heard in one documentary that were not in the other one at all, which to me were really important.
Exactly. So it's kind of the narrative that some build, right?
Yeah.
So in 1966, she married Dr. Roy Makepeace, a psychiatrist, 18 years her senior, so quite the age gap there. The marriage lasted 16 years and was described by some as controlling. Cindy later told friends that Makepeace had been violently abusive during their time together. The marriage ended in July of 1982.
They didn't have kids. He had kids already, right? That's what I thought. But they never had any.
She and he, I believe, did not.
Okay.
4 months later, in late 1982, is when the harassment began. It started with anonymous disturbing phone calls, sometimes silent, sometimes consisting of heavy breathing, or direct threats like, "You're dead."
And this is shortly after the marriage ended.
Yes, this is 4 months later. Yeah.
It's terrifying still.
Very.
Yeah. I wonder if she ever had any recordings of this.
There were.
There were
recordings, and some of them are very creepy.
Oh, you've heard them?
Yes.
Ooh.
One of them was like whispering her name.
You know
kinda
what?
just
I think
drawn
they
out.
might have had that recording in one of the documentaries I watched, now that I think about it. Yeah.
That was probably an excerpt from that then, because it looked like it was from a TV show
Yeah.
when I found that on the YouTube. But
The YouTubes.
the YouTubes. And yeah, very creepy stuff. Again, the harassment began approximately 4 months after Cindy's divorce. The caller's behavior was described by her family as cold and deliberate, designed to systematically dismantle her sense of security. Cindy reported receiving dozens of calls in a single night. Beyond silence and heavy breathing, the caller used both live and pre-recorded messages. Documented threats included, "You're dead, you're going to die, and next time I'll finish the job."
Jeez.
Several calls were traced to public payphones miles from her residence. Some occurred while Cindy was at work or under partial police observation, which complicates theories that she fabricated these calls.
Yeah. But were these left on her voicemail? Did she answer? Was it like a combination?
I believe it was a combination.
Okay.
Because
so sometimes she was there to
point,
answer, sometimes she
yes.
wasn't.
I know she had an answering machine. Gosh, when you're getting this amount of phone calls and it's starting to get
Yeah, you
this
probably
kind of a
don't ever
pattern,
want to answer your phone.
I believe you would start
Screening
your calls. Right.
Back then it was probably like a actual message machine.
Right. And in one of the excerpts that I read on Makepeace's side, he had a daughter who this got to a point where she would call him, and he was even fielding his calls
Really?
to the point where she would have to call and say, "Hey, Dad, it's me," and then hang up and call back, and then he would answer. And so I don't believe he was getting any of these phone calls, but I think just because of
He
the
was worried about
proximity
it.
to it, he was also just being cautious.
Which kind of makes you think maybe it wasn't him.
Constable McBride initially responded to Cindy's complaints as an officer when she filed a report about these calls.
Okay.
This is getting into late 1982, by the way.
Okay.
The two soon began a romantic relationship.
Uh-oh.
McBride moved into Cindy's home a month later.
A month after meeting her?
Yes. They started dating within weeks, and then a month after that, they moved in.
Oh, that's not good.
No. And it was under the ruse of providing her 24/7 surveillance and protection.
Sure, it's like a security guard with benefits.
Yeah, massive. This isn't, bodyguard here. Like,
I know.
I'm
just saying he's protecting her, but he's also getting something. So
Well, exactly. Right. Protect and service.
yes. Yes. Not the kind of service you're looking for in a
Exactly,
police officer,
yeah.
but okay.
Oh my gosh. So while living with her, McBride discovered Dr. Roy Makepeace sitting in his parked car in the alley directly behind Cindy's home. McBride noted that Makepeace had 2 guns in his possession at the time. When confronted, Makepeace claimed he was conducting his own counter-surveillance because he didn't trust the police to protect his ex-wife. No charges were filed for that instance, though.
But he just sat in his car with 2 guns, didn't do anything.
Yeah, behind her house, just
Creepy,
looking,
though.
watching. Well, I mean, okay, so 4 months after their divorce in 1982, all of this starts happening. And then she reports it, meets this investigator.
He moves in.
Moves in a month after.
Was it that guy who caught the ex-husband in the driveway, do you know?
McBride did, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That was him.
Interesting.
And during this time, Cindy has also called Makepeace to tell him that these certain things are going on. She kept him in the loop. And
so she's not afraid of him to the point where she's not communicating with him, though? Okay.
While she said that the relationship was abusive, she didn't claim that he was doing any of this. She claimed
she
that
didn't think it was
She
him.
claimed that he had no part in what was going on.
Okay.
On November 28th, 1982, while still living in the house, McBride observed that the phone lines outside had been cut in 5 different places. This is the first time that happens, by the way.
That's odd that you're calling someone to harass them. Why would you cut their phone lines? That kind of cuts off your means of terrifying somebody.
Right. This happened shortly after Cindy found a note on her windshield featuring a picture of a corpse.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where was it?
It was on her windshield. of her car.
Creepy.
Where the car was at the time she found it, I'm not sure. It could have been at work.
I realize I've said creepy like 24 times, but
it's
that's
very creepy.
the word I can think of for this.
Well,
whole
this is
situation.
extremely unsettling when you have somebody like her. And again, a point to make is people have described her as very well put together, kind of to the nines all the time.
Yeah.
I do
remember
has this endearing quality that just kind of draws people in.
Yeah.
From what
Which
I
probably
gather.
makes her really good at what she does for a living.
So that coupled with you've got this relationship with a much older man, you've got this kind of magnetic
plus kind of a rocky
personality,
childhood with another strong
obviously
male.
There's something about her that in a month a cop moves in with her.
Yeah.
So clear conflict of interest. You don't do that. That's like a massive ethical.
That's a no. Yeah.
issue there.
Yeah. But that was the 80s. They didn't have as many rules. Now it would definitely not be okay.
McBride ended up moving out on December 1st, 1982, after only a month of the two living together. The relationship became too strained by the intensity of the stalking, though they continued to date casually for some time after.
Okay, so moves out.
The RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, viewed the relationship as a breach of professional ethics that biased his reporting. And once the nature of their romantic relationship became known to his superiors, McBride was formally removed from the investigation.
Okay, well, that's good.
They took him off of it, and he had no part.
Okay.
They did continue to date for a period of time after that, though.
But also, he's in the RMCP or RCMP, whatever it's called. Even though he's not in the case, if he wanted to know something, all he would have to do is go look it up or ask somebody.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Okay. I mean, being removed from the actively...
you're not actively involved, but you can still stay in the loop if you want to.
Exactly.
Or if you're the one doing it.
One of the most chilling aspects of the early harassment was the suggestion of real-time surveillance.
I agree.
In one instance, after receiving a silent call, Cindy closed her living room blinds for privacy. The phone immediately rang again, and the caller whispered, "There's no use hiding. I know you're in the living room."
Oh, so they're watching her.
Oh, yes, for sure. Actively.
And the police were outside when that happened?
I'm not sure if the police were surveilling her at this time. This is in 1982. This is shortly after she's reported stuff.
Okay.
She's broken up with
So they
McBride.
might just be doing drive-by checks and stuff, but not sitting outside her.
I'm not
house.
sure if they escalated to that point yet. I know she's reporting and keeping track of all of her calls.
The police boyfriend moves out in December.
Yes.
And then it becomes where she's actually being physically assaulted in January.
Yes.
Okay.
And after this is when police presence escalates.
Good.
Right?
Yeah. Because now it's not just a threat. Something actually happened.
Yes. Yeah. Her friend finds her semi-conscious and suffering from hypothermia.
Oh.
She finds a black nylon stocking tied tightly around her neck. She reported being forced into her garage and strangled. She later told investigators she recognized the man but refused to name him, claiming he threatened to kill her family if she talked.
Whoa, so she knew who it was?
That's what she claimed, yes.
And she didn't tell anybody.
In mid-1983, approximately 1 year after her divorce, and as the threats escalated into physical assaults, she adopted the name Cindy James.
Okay.
James was not a married name. It was just an alias she used specifically to conceal her identity while attempting to evade the individual she believed was stalking her.
Yeah.
Despite moving repeatedly, repainting her car, and changing her routines, the terror continued and escalated for 7 years until her death in 1989.
That's crazy. So she recognized who it was. I don't want to, obviously this is just my opinion, but I think it's got to be the cop boyfriend, because who else would scare you to the point where you don't want to tell the cops?
Right.
She would say something about her ex-husband.
You would think.
He's not going to threaten her friends and family. Like that's his group too, probably. I don't know.
Her father was averse to them being together. He didn't like the age gap and the fact that he was close to his own age.
Right.
So I doubt that there was any kind of close relationship
I understand that,
with that. Yeah. Right. So there's a point with that we'll get to later where she recalls something that was pretty That ties neatly into her knowing who
it is.
Yes. The escalation of violence reached a theatrical peak in early 1984, providing one of the most chilling and controversial incidents of the entire 7-year ordeal. Cindy's private investigator, Ozzie Cabin, arrived at her home to find her slumped in the hallway, unconscious and suffering from a severe concussion. In a scene described by investigators as staged for maximum horror, Cindy had a paring knife driven completely through her hand. A taunting hand-printed note was pinned to her clothing by the very blade through her hand, repeating the familiar refrain, "You're dead, bitch."
Dang.
The incident became a flashpoint for the investigators' growing skepticism.
So she was unconscious?
I believe semi-conscious. Or no, she was unconscious. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And the knife was completely through her hand with the note on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the paring knife was through her hand. While Cindy claimed she was attacked from behind, police noted the lack of defensive wounds and the precise medical nature of the injury, leading them to believe the wound may have been self-inflicted to gain the attention of investigators.
Do you think the first moment when they started thinking she was doing it to herself, or that started way back when the phone calls were happening?
Well, this is early on.
Okay.
So we're 2 years in at this point.
Oh, and it lasted for 7 years.
And this lasted for 7 years.
This is just making them think even more she must be doing it to herself.
I think this is kind of the seed that starts
the
that
major
growing.
turning point, yeah.
Yes. And of course, there's other things that happen. And I will go back to McBride claiming while he was there living with her, at one point answered one of the harassing calls and corroborated it for himself while Cindy was there with him.
Okay.
So, but again, they said, well, you're biased
You're involved,
and we can't take that. So no.
But still, somebody was able to say she was in my sight and I heard the phone call.
And that happened multiple times throughout the years. She was at work when it happened. She was with friends or family when it happened. I mean, multiple occasions where she could not have personally made the calls herself,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
And still investigators
So what, she's paying someone off the street to, hey, give me a call at this time, and yeah.
Her home was repeatedly ransacked, and knives were left inside without explanation. Dead cats were left on her property with notes like, "You're next."
Leave the kitties alone.
Yeah. And so getting into 1986, this was a critical turning point. While friends Agnes and Tom Woodcock were staying with her, the basement was set on fire. Tom tried to call for help, but the phone lines had been cut again.
Oh.
He ran outside and saw a man standing at the curb who fled when Tom asked for help.
Oh.
Despite this sighting, the Royal Canadian Police grew more skeptical, noting there were no signs of forced entry and that dust on the windowsills remained undisturbed.
We don't have to mess with the windowsill to set something on fire.
Right. And again, investigating it, they claim it started from within, around a bookshelf that was there.
But whoever this is also can get into her house, obviously, because she's been attacked inside her own home.
Right. And she has two friends with her corroborating this.
And that guy saw somebody. And if your house is on fire and you ask for help and you have nothing to hide, you're going to help. You're not going to turn around and run away.
Exactly.
Or at least say, let me go call 911 or whatever Canada has. I don't know. What you got, Canada? What's your emergency number? I'm interested.
Getting back to the harassing nature of the calls, they often took on a very graphic and sexual tone. In a particularly disturbing call, the stalker taunted Cindy's reliance on the police, reportedly stating, "So you think the police will keep you safe? You wait, I've got my zipper open."
Ew.
Frustrated by increasing police skepticism, she voluntarily underwent a polygraph examination. Despite the extreme psychological duress that she was under, she passed the test as truthful, regarding her claims of stalking and physical assault as true.
Yeah, considering how paranoid and anxious she must be at that point, the fact that she passed, could be because she has a psychological background, though.
It could be.
But
again,
just playing devil's advocate and going, you know what I mean?
If you see pictures of her during this time, you see somebody who's put together, they look great, then all of a sudden,
She's
as the
disheveled.
years go on, you just see this very,
Sure.
it's wearing on her.
Yeah.
You go from looking okay to haggard.
Yeah.
Dark circles under your eyes. You're not sleeping.
Right.
There's a lot that does to you.
Yeah.
And during this time, though, she also has volatile calls with her ex, Makepeace,
Oh.
where he claimed that she was paranoid and possibly either schizophrenic or bipolar, maybe different
So he
personalities.
thinks something's wrong with her.
Exactly. So by the late 1980s, the investigators had spent an estimated $1 million to $1.5 million on this case.
Ooh, in 80s money, that is a lot of money.
The most expensive investigation of its kind in Canadian history at that point.
Yeah.
With no suspect ever caught, despite thousands of hours of surveillance, police began to interpret the complexity and theatrical nature of the scenes as evidence of self-infliction. Mm-hmm. Right? Investigators believed her training as a nurse gave her expertise to inject herself and tie complex knots. One of the things to mention here is that when she was found unconscious or semi-conscious, this was done multiple times, right? She was found inside, outside.
Yeah, different places.
And she was drugged.
Yeah.
There was a small, hole in her arm, and she was given morphine, diazepam, like all kinds of crap.
So they
that
did
was in her
toxicology
system.
yeah.
They did.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Wow.
And she was drugged.
That's crazy. I can't imagine someone tying a nylon around their throat tight because it said it was tight and drugging themselves.
Right.
And I don't know, hitting themselves on the head or whatever. The one time when she was found.
There was a concussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's a lot to do to yourself and still be
exactly.
like,
no, yeah.
do you
is.
tie the knot and hope you can give yourself the injection of the drugs before you pass out from that? Do you
do the drugs and then tie the knot?
Right. It's so, I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but to me, it's just very unlikely.
It would take a lot of
timing, skill, knowledge,
all of which
luck.
she had.
Yeah, that's true.
And so going back to the growing skepticism, on at least one occasion, police traced a harassing call back to Cindy's own phone line while she was home alone.
Oh, the call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Her ex-husband, Roy Makepeace, maintained that Cindy suffered from a severe personality disorder or multiple personalities.
I was just thinking that.
Unknowingly tormenting herself due to past trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. What if she did and if she wasn't aware that she has a split personality, because a lot of times you don't if your personality disorder is that strong. She could be doing this to herself, but it's not her, it's her other personality.
Coming from trauma or
which could also be why she recognized the person but couldn't say anything, because you have a recollection of that person, but you also probably don't know exactly who they, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So going back to 1984, during an hypnosis session, Cindy's story took a very surreal turn. She claimed to have uncovered a repressed memory of witnessing a double murder years earlier, which she believed was the true motive behind the stalking.
Oh.
Police investigated the claim but found no evidence of any such crime, further fueling their belief that that she was experiencing a mental health crisis.
Oh, okay.
Coupled with, you've got her husband who's a psychiatrist giving his professional opinion.
Yeah.
You've got this going on. However, if she really did witness this, and then the person who attacked, she knew, that could be connected, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so circling back to 1983, Cindy's friend Agnes Woodcock found her semi-conscious in her yard with a nylon stocking tied around her neck. Cindy reported that after being dragged into her garage by two men and strangled, that she was sexually assaulted with some sort of an instrument. She was taken to the hospital, but medical examiners reportedly could not find definitive forensic evidence of any sexual assault, which contributed significantly to the investigators' growing skepticism.
Yeah.
So you had events happening like this early on. And again, this is another time that her friend found her. So I mean, for her sake, thank God she has a friend like that.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, who knows what would have happened.
Right. She could have been laying there for who knows how long.
And one of the identifying things she would tell investigators was that the perpetrator wore white sneakers, that they wore white sneakers. And that was the only other description that she would give. And
that's interesting because, I mean, it's the 80s, so I'm sure a lot of people wore white sneakers, but white sneakers are a very prominent thing to wear in the medical field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true.
Scrubs and white sneakers, for males. I mean, females usually wear like the crocky. Well, I don't know.
Not back
in the
then.
80s,
they
that's
probably
true.
wore some sort of sneaker back then.
That's true.
Something comfortable to be on your feet for long periods of time. Yeah,
Avias or Reeboks. No kids.
Exactly 6 years and 7 months after the first threatening call, Cindy vanished. She had recently told family she felt better than she had in years. On the day she disappeared, she deposited her paycheck, bought groceries, and a gift for a friend's child.
Okay.
Her vehicle was found in a neighborhood shopping center. Inside were the groceries and the gift. Outside, police found blood on the driver's side door and the contents of her wallet scattered on the ground beneath her car.
Oh, so the gift was for a friend's child, not a picture of her. Like you lied to me.
Well, that was fictitious.
I know.
That was drama.
Yes.
That was just
throwing a little
shock
twist in
and
there.
awe.
Yeah.
The what's in the box kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
We should watch that.
You hate that movie.
I know, but true.
She should have quit while she was ahead.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wah, wah. Evidence at the car scene appeared oddly deliberate. Specifically, her bank card, which was found on the ground underneath her car, but it was found resting on top of a bank receipt as if the card was being used to weigh it down to keep it from blowing away.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
like I've
very
dropped
oddly
stuff
placed.
before that has slid underneath my car and it's really annoying, but for the receipt to be underneath the car, that's weird.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into June 8th, 1989.
This is when they found her body?
2 weeks later, her body was found in the yard of an abandoned house in Richmond. She was found hog-tied with her hands and feet bound together behind her back with complex knots. A black nylon stocking was tied tightly around her neck. She had 10 times the lethal dose of morphine and significant levels of diazepam in her system.
Was it the drugs that killed her?
Well, I believe the coroner's report stated that she died of asphyxiation.
Oh. Okay.
Crucially, no syringe, drinking glass, or restraints were found anywhere near her body.
Yeah. This is the part, like the whole thing I can see going either way. Like it is actually somebody or it could be her. But this is the part where I'm like, it could not have been her doing it to herself.
Her private investigator, Ozzy, noted post-mortem lividity, which is blood pooling on the front left side of her body, but she was found lying on her right side.
Yeah.
The inconsistency strongly suggests her body was moved hours after her death.
Yeah.
Again, if somebody put her, hog-tied, belly down, and then she fell over,
right?
Who knows? A significant thing to note here is a squatter was living in a van just 5 meters from where Cindy's body was discovered. He maintained that he never saw her body during the 2 weeks that she was missing, despite her wearing a bright white top. This, combined with the lividity anomalies, strongly supports the theory that her body was moved to the yard shortly before its discovery.
So did they say how long she had been dead?
There were no maggots. There was no
So she
stuff
may not have
on
even been
her.
dead that whole 2 weeks.
Her body was not in that spot in that yard
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was not.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you hear from the her private investigator talking about it, he says some stuff about that just doesn't add up to her being in that spot for 2 weeks. So she was clearly put there
to be found at some point. Yeah.
I think it was, they wanted her to be found, so then it was moved.
To me, at this point, you cannot say she did this to herself. You're not going to hog tie yourself, wrap a nylon around your throat tight enough to choke you, and give yourself a lethal amount of drugs. You can't do all of that. Physically, you couldn't do all of that. And there's no syringes around. So how'd she give herself the injection and then...
During the coroner's inquest, okay, so after all of this is done, the coroner, I guess...
It's like a jury that
it
determines
is.
if it's...
And it's a 40-day inquest,
Yeah.
involved 80 witnesses, and exposed the case's irreconcilable truths. During this time, they had somebody who was an expert in knots come in and proved that within the 3-minute window, experts believed it would take for that amount of morphine to take effect,
Okay.
was able to effectively tie those knots behind her back. Albeit, she is an expert.
Although her dad was
an Air Force.
Yeah.
He was in the Air Force. So.
I mean, people teach their kids weird things. I don't know.
Who knows?
And she was smart.
I learned some knots in Boy Scouts, but
then who moved her body?
Exactly.
Maybe
why
somebody.
was her body
I don't know.
moved?
Maybe somebody found her and was like, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with this." And
when I
moved
heard
her,
that,
but-
and I thought, okay, it's an expert in knots.
so it's
I take that with a
possible,
grain of
but
salt
yeah,
because
exactly.
she's a nurse. She's going through all of this.
Plus, just because you have 3 minutes from when you get the injection to when you're incapacitated doesn't mean that entire time. Like if you're taking that much morphine and whatever else, you can't think straight for those 3 minutes. You're not moving quickly.
you do have a brief window before it starts to affect you.
But
again,
you're going to move slow. You're going to be...
Well, and taking into account everybody's body works differently, so it could metabolize much faster
Yeah.
or slower depending on the individual, right?
Well, and she's a small person, so it probably
Exactly.
happened quickly.
It most likely
Right.
did. And again, I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And during the inquest, the theme of sexual trauma expanded beyond the stalking. Her ex-husband, Makepeace, alleged that Cindy had been sexually abused by an older brother while growing up.
Oh.
While these claims were never substantiated, they were used by those who believe Cindy suffered from a dissociative disorder caused by early trauma, leading her to unknowingly torment herself.
Yeah. So they're thinking that she had another personality that was... Okay.
Right. The jury refused to rule the death a suicide or a homicide. They returned a very rare verdict of undetermined.
So now the police can decide if they want to investigate or not, but they don't have to, right?
This is for all intents and purposes, it's just a cold case.
Yeah.
It's not closed because
Yeah.
they can't close it because
Right.
it's undetermined by a jury.
But they also don't have to actively pursue it because it's not a homicide or whatever.
Exactly. So it's just a cold case.
Yeah.
Roy Makepeace was interrogated for 6 hours but never charged. He was closely looked at, highly scrutinized.
Probably
and
lived with that shadow for the rest of his life.
one thing to note is his daughter was quoted as saying he still loved Cindy. And I believe he had a picture in his home of her still up to the day that he died.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, that could go one way or the other. I mean,
Yeah,
that could
true.
be aw,
It could
or it could be
Ooh, yeah.
right. You
True,
know,
true,
that could
true.
go both ways.
Yeah.
And so a cold case on that one. And again, when I said you're not entirely right, but you're not entirely wrong, I'm going to
it
give you
could be.
some more details about our buddy McBride here.
Oh, okay.
While still a police officer in the early 1990s, he was arrested for shoplifting from a local hardware store. The specific items he was caught stealing are often highlighted by true crime analysts because of the potential utility as a stalker. A hammer,
Yeah.
and dog repellent.
Dog repellent?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, and she did have an injury to her head, right?
Well, and it's particularly chilling given that Cindy at one point had a security dog for protection.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Right.
was this during that time that he was shoplifting?
This is after. This is in the 90s. This is the early 90s, so this is after her death.
But continued behavior, maybe.
Right.
Okay.
However, he didn't have any prior issues
Up
in
until
his
that
police
point.
career until
Yeah.
the early 90s.
Why would you steal it? Just buy it.
Beyond the shoplifting, McBride's life continued on a dark trajectory. He was eventually fired from his police department following these and other erratic behaviors. Years later, he was convicted of sexual assault against multiple other women.
What?
These victims were often located in close proximity to his own residence, suggesting a predatory pattern. These convictions led many to believe McBride possessed the perfect profile for Cindy's stalker.
Yeah. Police
the professional
department.
knowledge of a police officer to evade surveillance,
Fear of her telling anybody.
a history of predatory behavior against women, and the intimate access gained during their brief relationship.
Yeah, you build the trust.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Despite his later criminal history, it is a factual reality that no forensic evidence was ever conclusively linked to Pat McBride, to the harassment or the death of Cindy James.
Yeah. I wonder.
It's just weird.
I wonder if they still have like the rope that she was hogtied with and stuff like that.
Any DNA that could
Yeah,
have been
because
found.
from the 80s to now, like you can get touch DNA off of stuff now.
Right.
And I'm just curious.
Man.
I lean that way too.
He's a prime candidate.
I agree.
Right? And he's the type who could evade millions of dollars worth of police investigation.
Oh, well, especially
Right.
back then when technology wasn't as advanced as it is. It was a lot easier if you knew the system to get away with stuff.
Exactly. And like we were saying earlier, just because you're removed from the case doesn't mean that you don't still have access to it, right?
Yeah.
Or a friend who's close, who's going to tell you details, or you just wait till it's late at night and you just go look at stuff for yourself.
Right.
Who's on patrol right now? Who's doing this?
Right.
Oh, I know that guy's routine. He's not going to be paying attention.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of things and variables there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a bizarre one.
Yeah, very.
In her diaries, they used a lot of her writings to kind of indicate and show,
Mental health.
she's, clearly not okay. And her sister took to bat for her, claiming that they were twisting that, this was the writings and diaries of a woman who was under duress.
Yeah.
She was clearly
Anybody
emotional.
would have-
She was
yeah.
putting these things down, and they twisted that for
Yeah.
their own agenda.
Yeah.
So she was very adamant that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
She wrote a book called My Sister, My Friend, and that's on melaniehack.com. If anybody's interested, you can go check that out.
Yeah.
And she tells from her and the family side of the Cindy James case.
I'm going to check that out. That sounds interesting.
Man. So that was a bizarre one.
Yeah,
so
very.
there was nobody to really.
I count that as not a win, but not a loss.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But yeah, well, that's so sad. Such a sad story. Either way, no matter who
Very sad.
was responsible, even if it was herself, like just a sad story for
Yeah.
mental health crisis. And oh man.
Yeah. It's hard too, especially when you've got somebody who's going through those issues. And the weird part about that is the phone calls,
Yeah.
especially how many were corroborated that it was somebody else.
And the friend seeing the guy outside
And-
after the fire. And like,
Right.
there's just little things like that it's like, okay, she's not doing this to herself. But they definitely wanted them to think she was.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes me think about the movie Cellular.
Oh,
when
yeah.
not to ruin the plot for anybody, but that movie's like 20 years old, so get over yourself.
Probably more than that.
But it's a real estate agent who's filming this lot, and he accidentally films these cops offing a guy in the parking lot, and they come after him, right? And it's the police who are
Yeah.
trying to get him
And cover it up.
and cover it up. And so when she says that she witnessed a double murder, you're thinking,
Oh, true.
shoot, was that cops? Was that,
Yeah.
I don't know, not
Yeah.
that I'm not trying to piss off the Royal Mounties, but
Yeah. Keep your horses on your side of the border.
yeah, but it's something to
Yeah.
mull over. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies around that.
Yeah.
And
That's just one that, I mean, you could go a million different directions with that. That's
for
crazy.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, guys. With every episode, we try to do a highlight on some different resources. And Cindy James' story is a really haunting reminder of what happens when a victim's cry for help is met with institutional skepticism. Today, specialized organizations are working to ensure that no one else has to endure that isolation. First, we want to spotlight CASA. It's the Canadian Anti-Stalking Association. They were founded in 2024 by survivor Julie Lalonde. CASA is Canada's only nonprofit dedicated exclusively to ending stalking through advocacy and education.
Nice.
They recognize that stalking is a serious form of violence, one that was only codified in Canadian law after Cindy's death.
Wow.
CASA works to change the systematic ways we respond to harassment so that victims are believed from the very first phone call, not after they're found. If you want to learn how to advocate for better laws or find survivor-led resources, visit stalking.ca, and that link will be in the show notes. So just scroll down, you'll find it right there. Next, for those who, like Cindy's family, are still searching for answers in long cold cases, there is UC Files Canada or Unsolved Case Files Canada. This volunteer-led initiative maintains an extensive database of missing persons and unsolved homicides across Canada, including Cindy's own case.
Oh.
They provide a space to keep those stories alive and encourage anyone with tips to come forward.
That's
So
cool.
if you have any information on an old case or want to help keep the victim's memory alive and in the public eye, check out their work at ucfiles.com.
Wow.
Yeah, both of these organizations prove that even when the legal system stalls, the community doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So again, scroll down, you'll
That's
find
awesome.
those show notes at the bottom. And that's
Nice.
pretty awesome what they do.
Yeah.
I knew you knew this case, so it was kind of
You
hard
did a
for
good job
me,
of hiding it with the way you described it, because I definitely know it, but I
Right.
did not put that together. So yeah. But yeah,
It's the second Canada
poor
one.
Cindy. Can you do some Texas crime? I know all of those.
We're going to probably do some. That would actually be a good segment. That would be fun to do, just Texas-specific ones for maybe Texas Independence Day. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. When is that?
March 2nd, 1836.
Is this when we won independence from Mexico and Santa Ana at the Alamo, which is right around the corner from us?
Yes. Shout out to Colby over there at the Alamo, Colby and Misty. If you guys are ever in Texas and tour the Alamo, they'll treat you right over there.
Yeah, they
They're
will.
awesome.
It's actually a really cool tour too. Lots
Very cool.
and lots of history.
They've got a whole new exhibit that's coming up.
Yeah.
And I think it's already opened actually.
Yeah.
But it's super, super dope. Really, really nice. A lot of the stuff that they got was artifacts from Phil Collins, believe it or not. He was a super avid collector of Alamo memorabilia. Blows my mind. Dopest musician on the planet, and he's
I know, and
just
he
an
loves
avid
the Alamo
fan.
Is he
That's
even
so
from
cool.
Texas?
No,
That's such a weird.
He's from England.
Oh my gosh, what was I even thinking? I knew that. All right. Well, thanks for being here with us today. And
guys, if you enjoyed the show, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on YouTube. We do have a Patreon, Dead Giveaway Podcast, if you guys want to support the show.
if you have comments, complaints, or suggestions,
Let's
email
go
it
right
to
to my
us.
spam folder.
Yep.
So
And what's our email?
deadgiveawaypodcast@gmail.com.
There it is.
Yes.
I'm going to email you right now.
Do it.
Okay.
Karen.
I will.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. Have a good week.